Gentlemen, thank you for being here today. Admiral Harris, let me ask you some questions about the Littoral Combat Ship Program. You've stated that the Littoral Combat Ship was a vital capability for you to engage through the PACOM area of operation. You've noted the LCS was needed to do missions not suited for DDGs, destroyers. How beneficial is having such a capability in your AOR to patrol waters not easily navigated by larger platforms?
Well, thanks for the question, sir. I mean, just by definition, I mean, if the Littoral Combat Ship is designed to operate in shallower waters than our destroyers and cruisers. I think in where we are now in Phase 0, the LCS is a terrific platform to work with our allies and partners in the region. I think that there's work, though, that could be done to the LCS to make it to make the sea more sea, the combat part of Littoral Combat Ship. And I'm pleased that through the Senate and the House and the Congress at large that we're looking at doing that. So we're going to quote unquote upgun the LCS, and I think that's terrific. I want our adversaries in the Pacific to think about the LCS the way I thought about the Nanuchkas, Osas, and Tarantulas of the Soviet Navy back in those days, back during the Cold War. You know, we used to track and be concerned about those little tiny patrol boats that the Soviets had because they were missile-armed corvettes. And I want the Chinese and the Russians and other adversaries we might have to think about the LCS in that way. And I think we can think of it in that way if we put the right kind of missile on it and upgun it.
Of course, that's planned. As you know, the last, I think, 20 ships of the 52-ship buy would be frigates that would have the upgun and the more heavier platform. But I guess what I hear you saying is that because you can have so many of them, and it's a cost-effective way to have so many of them, that it's another way for us to project our strength in the maritime environment in a shallow draft environment we find in many of those islands.
That's correct. I stated when I was the Pacific Fleet Commander that I valued LCS. I believe there's a place for LCS in the Joint Force as now that I'm the PACOM Commander, and I look forward to working with them as they come online.
You also mentioned how we're able to work with other nations and their navies with the Littoral Combat Ship. Could you expand on that some, please?
Sure. A lot of our friends and partners in the region have small navies, and they want to learn from us, or they want to learn from somebody, and I would rather they learn from us than other potential partners. And their navies are small, and when a cruiser comes in there, or even a DDG for that matter, it can overwhelm them. And so an LCS is the right platform to do that. It's also the right platform to train in areas of shallower depths, just by definition, as I talked about. And the crews are smaller, so that footprint is smaller. And for that reason, I think in a partnership environment way, the LCS is, again, an ideal platform.
Let me ask you about another vessel. It's called the Joint High-Speed Vessel, or they just renamed it the EPF. And I understand that those vessels are getting some pretty good use in PACOM. This is a well-built ship with the ability to add a lot of additional capabilities. What do you see as the future of the Joint High-Speed Vessel, the EPF, in your AOR?
Yeah, I think it has a great potential for some of the mission sets that I have to be concerned about. More so the Pacific Fleet Commander would worry about it. But the Joint High-Speed Vessel has a great ability to move a lot of things quickly. And by a lot of things, I mean troops and their equipment. The Army is using a version of that now in the Western Pacific. So I'm looking forward to the JHSV EPF coming online in greater numbers. I think that you could put an expeditionary field hospital, for example, on a JHSV and turn it into a hospital ship. We explored that in the last few months of my time as the Pacific Fleet Commander during Pacific Partnership. That's an exciting new capability that I think we should take a hard look at.
Well, thank you for your service, gentlemen, both of you, and I yield back.
Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, gentlemen, for your service.